So with the deck flipped over now, we have everything soaked in WD-40. This is actually how free those are supposed to spin. It's kind of like the wheel of fortune going around there. So we got both of them. Not a lot of grinding, rolling noises in there that would indicate the bearings are going bad or anything. They're nice and smooth. The deck is actually, although rusted, it's clean under here. It's not caked with all kinds of rotted grass and stuff, so that's kind of surprising. But if you were back to these spindles, if you did have a problem with one, this one actually does have the 4 bolts. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you would have to job one, take the blade off, then unbolt these. Take your time, soak them, because they're going to be pretty rusted in there. And then that whole assembly will lift out from the top, and then you would just take that and get that replaced so that you had a nice smooth blade action again. But if a lot of times if you hit a rock or something, and not only can you bend the blade, but you can actually bend the shaft that goes in there if you don't actually just snap the aluminum. All kinds of havoc can happen if you do hit stuff while you're out there mowing. So that's just one thing that would come in handy to know when you're replacing these. So I'm going to take both of these blades off now because it doesn't look like they've ever actually been sharpened. Even if they have, they're well worn down and rusted. So I just take an angle grinder with a metal wheel on it and put a nice clean face on there until they're nice and sharp. You can also do it with a bench grinder, but I try to keep the sparks and all the dust down in my shop here, so I usually just use an angle grinder outside until I get them where I need them. So we should be able to have some sharp blades and some free pulleys and spindles and put this thing back together. We were able to drive it forward, neutral, and reverse now without the deck on it. Drove it around the yard a little bit. Everything worked good. We had good pedal action, decent speed out of the quote-unquote automatic transmission. So everything looks like we're getting it ready to be cutting grass here in short order. Once we put the deck back on, we're going to go ahead and put the hood on, and that should be pretty much it for this series of videos. I do have a leaky tire, so I think we'll be making a video on how to put a tube in the tire in short order here, because that's going to get annoying. If you had to keep this in your shed and every day you had to use it and you had to go and keep filling the tire up. So it's only going to get worse, it's not going to get any better. And since these tires look like they're still pretty good treaded and good shape, the cheap thing is to put a tube in one and go from there. But I WD-40 sprayed every kind of linkage joint and pulley underneath this unit. All the steering arms, you want to spray them WD-40, and then this particular model has a cast iron front axle, which they did for strength, so that it didn't bend. It's going to have grease fittings here and on the other side that you'll need to stick a grease gun on and try and pump some grease into, just to make it easier to steer. Some of the other models have what they call a stamped steel front axle, which is kind of made out of the same material as this. It's a little bit thinner. So over the years with the vibration and kind of bouncing around in the yard, they can crack and actually twist a little bit, and you have to replace them, and it kind of gets to be a pain to do that. So they put a cast iron one on this one, and it seems to be holding up pretty good so far. So we'll just keep on staying after the maintenance and keep this thing clean, oil changed, lubricated, and put some fresh belts on it. It should be in good shape. Give us some years of service here.